Hey everyone, and welcome to 121 in Flux. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we talk about movies on this show. This episode is actually the winner of our Patron Vote. Every month we have a vote on our Patreon, where our patrons can vote between one of four movies. There's usually a theme. The theme for this particular vote was movies set in the future, in some capacity. And the winner that they picked, that they voted for.
It's the last time you have to sound so dejected about this.
I know. After this, it's over. I don't have to worry about it anymore. But the winner they picked, of course, was Waterworld, from 1995, the Kevin Costner post-apocalyptic water movie.
I want to say congrats on getting the title right and not saying Westworld like you've done the last 5 times.
Yep. No. I was really thinking about it this time though, because it was the intro. Like I was really in my head. Whereas every other time I've just sort of casually brought it up, and it's just been kind of like, you know. But hey, so neither one of us had ever seen this before. Now, I'm typically someone who's seen a lot of the stuff that goes up for the votes. Not always, but often.
I'd seen some sections due to looking at some of the music in a class once. But
I'd never seen any of it. Surprisingly so. It's right from the time period where I probably should have seen it, like on TV or something like that, because I've seen so many things from the 90s, just casually, good or bad. more on that distinction later. But for some reason I never did. For some reason, despite the fact that I like science fiction, despite the fact that I like post-apocalyptic stuff, despite all these things, I'd never seen and basically, we'll start spoiler free, of course, and we'll give you a warning before we go into spoilers. But I think the first thing to describe it is basically Mad Max, but on water instead of sand. Basically, the polar ice caps have melted, and the world is now covered almost entirely by water. And we have these little sort of like towns. It's very Fallout. If you ever played Fallout, the video game, it's almost kind of like that, except on water, where you've got these little shanty towns that have like trading outposts, and the visuals are very Fallout when they get into these little places. But otherwise, your main character, Kevin Costner, who has no name, he's just referred to as the Mariner. He like has his own little boat, and he like goes out and salvages things, and he goes in to trade them, and then there's a sort of plot that goes from there, and it all kind of revolves around the search for dry land. Like, someone believes, like, this little girl has a tattoo that indicates that dry land might exist, so everyone wants her, including the villains. Dennis Hopper plays the main villain, who he runs like a big gang called the Smokers, and they're like chasing after him, and he's protecting this girl, and he's kind of reluctant, and as far as heroes go, and that's kind of the gist of the movie. And there's a lot of stunt work in water, which is kind of the main appeal, I guess, more than anything else. Yeah. So that is what Waterworld is. Before I ask you the question, actually, just a little bit of a tangent. I learned this recently. Apparently, at Universal Studios, the Waterworld Stunt show is still functioning, and it is one of the best shows they have there, apparently.
Okay then.
Like in 2018, you can go and see the Waterworld Stunt Show, and apparently it's a crowd-pleasing success. It's a live stunt show in water, and they're doing all sorts of things. There's explosions going off, and all this sort of stuff. And it's just funny that I feel like the only reason why it's still around is because people like the show, but like they have nothing else to call it. They can't just say, "Oh, it's from this movie" instead. They have to just keep saying it's based on Waterworld, because that's the only thing they have that's water-based.
Yeah, pretty much. It's kind of sad, isn't it?
I kind of love that. I love that the Waterworld Stunt Show is fondly remembered and still a thriving success 20 plus years later, when people typically want to forget the movie. Which leads me to my question. Connor, did you enjoy the notorious Waterworld?
I mean, you said it was like Mad Max. That's true. It's like Mad Max, but shit.
Well, sure, but there's a lot of Mad Max knockoffs.
Yeah, but this one's particularly bad.
Warriors of the Wasteland, for example, is one that springs to mind.
I've not seen it, but it's probably better than this.
Oh,
I really didn't like this.
No, I you're saying things you don't understand, child.
Okay, but that might be at least so bad I can laugh at it.
I don't remember. I did see it. It's basically a cheap Italian movie that's ripping off Mad Max. It's like got a budget of about $25. It's basically, oh, we've got a couple of go-karts and we can shoot in the desert. There you go.
See, that sounds more fun to me than this movie.
This at least has production value, which you kind of need if you're shooting water. Water is like a really difficult thing to deal with when you're making a movie. So having this concept right away is like a big budget idea. Like you can't do this concept at all unless you have some money to back it up. Yeah, it's not very good. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think I hate it. Like
I can't remember the last time I was this bored watching a movie.
I was pretty bored. I'll agree to that. It's kind of like it is kind of poking on things I like. Like, you know, it's post-apocalyptic. I like the idea of this like reluctant hero and like all these things. Unfortunately, it's just so ham-fisted and kind of derivative of other things that it's just kind of and it has nothing to do on its own. It has nothing to say on its own. And honestly, my biggest problem, honestly, is that the main characters are really unlikable.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. You say, "Oh yeah, no, he's got this hero." He's not really a hero, is he? He's a prick on a boat who can hold his breath for a while.
Well, I mean, he kind of does turn into a hero. That's kind of the point of the movie in a lot of ways. But he is so unlikable. He is so like. It's not just that he doesn't want to help, because you see this so often where the you know, because he's meant to kind of be this roguish.
Well, reluctant hero is, you know, that's a staple going back to westerns.
Oh sure, yeah, that's kind of what he's meant to be. But he is so adamant he does not want to help this woman and the kid. Because basically they're in this town. He gets attacked out of basically racism, and then the smokers attack the town because they want to pillage it and just get whatever they want. And he escapes, but the woman actually helps him out the cage. Helen, her name is. She's the female lead, and her and this little girl she's looking after, sort of basically, we'll let you out if you let us come with you on your boat. And they go with him. And within about 2 minutes of the movie, of them being on the boat, he's like, "Yeah, we won't have enough food and water, so we might as well throw the girl off now, because only two of us can survive." And he's like seriously wanting to throw the girl off the boat, and I'm like, okay, this is bordering on comical how awful he is.
No, it is. It's just mind-boggling that I'm supposed to root for this guy.
And then it gets worse as well. That's not even. I mean, that should be the worst of it, that he wants to like throw the kid off the boat, but it's actually not.
So, no, to be fair, I'd want to throw a kid off a boat at some point. That sounds like fun.
That's relatable. Wanting to throw a kid off a boat is relatable.
That's the most I can relate to this movie, I think.
But I mean, later on, he actually he almost trades the Helen for sexual like not even just like completely. He's like, oh, okay, give me your thing. There's this trader. He's like, oh, give me this map. You give me that map. You can have half an hour with Helen. And the entire time she's pleading, no, don't do this. I don't want to do this. And he's like, no, take her. And then he intervenes and stops it from happening. But you get the impression he only does that because he didn't like what he gave him, not because he actually had a change of heart.
Yeah, it's like, nah, this wasn't worth the deal.
Yeah, not because he actually realizes, oh wait, this is evil and awful, and I'm, you know, whoring this person out against their will. Like, not for those reasons, not for the reasons that make you like someone.
It's weird that in this movie our hero, or what is supposed to be our hero, is a pimp.
Well, no. He's not a pimp. He almost becomes one for one scene, and is okay with it, and then decides not to. Yeah,
but he made the deal. It was like, all right, it's fine. I'll be a pimp. I'll take this.
But he's not a pimp throughout. Like, I don't think you can say.
No, I'm just giving it context of that is something that he does, and we're still supposed to like him.
I think because he wants rid of them the whole time. Like, up until this point, he wants rid of the woman and the child. So at this point, he's just gonna. I mean, I think you're supposed to like him because he refuses him the kid, because he wants the kid as well. He wants half an hour with the kid, but you know, yeah. Okay, well, you might want to make us feel grimy and disgusting, because that's what you want when you come to see an action movie. He's like, no kid. I'm like, okay, he's got a moral line. He's not letting the kid be a prostitute. I guess like that's why we're supposed to like him at that point.
Yeah. Also, you say action movie. I feel like that's giving it more praise than it deserves.
It's billed as an action movie. I'm not making any statement on it.
Yeah, but there's not much action. It's more of an adventure movie, if anything, I'd say.
There's a lot of action at the start and there's a lot of action at the end. The middle is a bit devoid of it.
A bit far too long.
Yeah, it's a long movie. It's like 2 hours 15 minutes. It could have easily trimmed about 30 minutes off this without.
I took a like one point. I was like, okay, I need to take 5 minutes. I feel like I'm almost done, but I need to just get up and walk around so I don't go crazy. I paused it. I was like, oh my god, there's still an hour left.
I just want you to know that I'm drinking on subject today. I'm drinking water.
I'm not. I can't look at the damn stuff anymore.
By the way, full spoilers. I feel like we're just going to talk about plot.
Yeah, fine. Let's just.
Yeah, full spoilers.
I'll get my one positive out of the way now.
Oh, positive. Oh, we got a positive.
The music. James Newton Howard's pretty good. It's hard to fault him.
I like James Newton Howard typically. I'm not particularly fond of the music in this. Not because he did a bad job. It's got a very 90s big budget movie score feel to it, and I don't typically think those hold up.
That's fair. I was just, it was making me laugh because harmonically there's a lot of stuff that's actually very, very similar to a bunch of the main Harry Potter themes. Obviously this predates those.
John Williams, that hack ripping off.
Yeah, I was like,
what's
this is weird. What's going on here? And so that's what I spent most of the movie doing. I was just like analysing the music and going, oh, that's some interesting stuff going on there.
I think it was just a little too generic adventure for my taste. And here's the thing. This is the thing. So we have these really dark scenes where he's whoring out Helen and potentially the kid, although at least he says no to that. But the score's very swashbuckly. There's a lot of.
Oh, it is very swashbuckly, and that's why I like it.
Yeah, I'm not a big swashbuckly person, but I like some of the ideas at play. I like the idea of the Waterworld, the concept on its own. I like well enough.
No, I agree with that. I think the concept in general and the ideas of this post-apocalyptic world, all the you describe it, like you do at the start of these videos. I'm like, yeah, this should be great.
Yeah, I like the idea. I do like some of these, the tropes of the post-apocalyptic landscape. The barter town, I like the idea of all their vehicles being jet skis and boats and one little plane and all that kind of thing. Which
where did they get the oil? They have all the oil for the jet skis and stuff. I'm like,
oh, you see where they've got that though? They've got that big tanker.
Yeah, but how are they refining it?
Well, they're not. It's just this tanker was full when they got it. Okay. It's like Mad Max. You ever seen Mad Max 2 with the...
Well, yeah. I just assumed that it feels like that this should be empty by now.
Don't get me wrong. They're stretching the plausibility of how long this is lasting.
I think that's why I'm questioning it. I'm like, it feels like it's more sustainable than they're showing me.
I don't know. Maybe they find other tankers every so often and take siphon it off back to them. But don't get me wrong. I think the amount, I feel as I was watching this, it's not only with the fuel for the vehicles, but also the guns, the bullets. I thought, if you were in this world, I feel like you'd be a lot more conservative with your gunshots. Whereas in this, there's just turrets just firing into things, and there's explosions, and there's also I'm like, really, surely you have a finite amount of bullets.
Yeah, you'd think that it'll be ruined by water.
And we also know we're far enough in the future that no one alive actually was on dry land. Everyone doesn't remember. It's a myth, right?
Yeah.
So it's been at least a few generations. So it's been a while.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is the thing.
Speaking of dry land. That scene where he's like, "Oh, you want to see dry land? I'll show you dry land," and then just swims down to a old city, that was there.
Yeah, it's underwater. Yeah.
Yeah. This doesn't count as dry land. You're being a dick. You're being a facetious knobhead. This is underwater.
Why don't you like that though? Because you are a facetious knobhead.
Yeah, but I don't like it when a hero in a movie is.
I think you're nitpicking that, but honestly, I get what he means. It's because this is the thing, is that as far as she's again, this is going back to the idea that none of them remember dry land. They don't even know that it's water came up over the land. To them, they just think this is the way things have always been, and that because she even says at one point that she used to think that dry land floated because it was hovering on the water.
Yeah, I get it. I just
hovering is the wrong word. You know what I mean? Floating was the right word. I just want to use a different one. But it would drift in the ocean because it was just floating, and that's why it was hard to find. They don't understand that the land was there and then the water was above it. So this is a big shock to her.
I get it. It was just a really, really goofy scene.
It's goofy. Honestly, though, it's probably one of the best scenes in the movie, just from an idea point of view.
Yeah,
I like the idea of it more than the execution.
oh, that's fair. He does hold his breath for an stupidly long time.
Well, they give you a reason for that, though. He's a mutant.
I know, but I get that, but it's still like ungodly.
He's got gills.
I know, but I just like it's things like this, which is why I don't like it. I'm like, why just him? It makes no sense to me.
Oh, I don't think it is just him. It's just because the fact that they even understand what a mutant is implies that they've encountered other people here or there.
Yeah, I suppose. Okay.
I hate that you're putting me in a position where I'm defending this, but some of your complaints are actually defending.
No. I like this is the thing. It's like because it shows us all these factions. You know, we've got the smokers. You know, we've got all the traders and all these things, and then he seems like he's the only one of his kind that just can do all this stuff. And I don't get it.
We see such a small part of the world, though. Like, how many other towns and factions are there all over the planet? Because he says he's sailed further than anyone else, and like, the idea they all have to remain kind of close to this town because
No, that's fair.
Navigating must be a bitch when everything's water. That's all I'm saying.
Still got stars.
Yeah, but that's all you've got.
Yeah. I'm just. To be fair, that's not really much different to being at open sea anyway, is it? You don't really have landmarks.
Oh, sure, but at least when you leave from like one side of the Atlantic and you just keep going straight, you'll eventually hit the other side. Like, like you have simple, like, if you can keep going west and it'll mean something for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, like, does this little town that's on the water, does that like float? Like, is that in place?
That's a good point. It must float, mustn't it? Because it's not. It can't be anchored. Well, I mean, it could be anchored, I suppose.
Oh, I don't think they were thinking about that too hard when they were writing the movie.
No, I don't think they were.
Like, I'm just saying, navigation's a bit. As someone who does not know how to use the stars to navigate, this seems like a nightmare for me. I'm sure all these people understand navigating.
Yeah, you never see him use a compass, do you?
You don't, no. Maybe that's part of his mutant powers. He can just sense it. He's like, he can feel
a sense of direction.
He can feel the wind in his gills, and he just knows what way he's going.
Yeah, quite possibly. He also has the most overcomplicated boat I've ever seen.
Well, that's so you can have this big opening scene where you think he's screwed because he can't catch up to this like motorboat, and then he hits this button.
Contraptions.
Yeah, and then this big sail kind of appears, and like.
And all these things just happen. It's like, I can't remember the name of that game. You know, that board game where everything clicks together.
Mousetrap.
Yeah. That's the one where you have the sequence of things.
Aye.
It's like that, but on a boat.
Yeah, I guess. And I mean, again, I like some of the ideas. I like the idea that dirt is like the most like precious thing in this world. Like, if you have dirt, then you're like,
yeah,
riches. You can plant things. You can grow something. This is an okay idea. Like, I don't think it's developed enough, but like those
it's
ideas
kind of mentioned, and then he has a little garden on his boat, and then
a garden. He has a plant pot.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically a proto garden.
Yeah. Yeah, he's growing some fruit. He's all excited about his fruit. So get back to him being unlikable. So we mentioned he doesn't want Helen or the kid to be on the boat in the first place, and when he's threatening to throw the kid off, like, she's like, "Oh, we can work." And he's like, I don't need people who can work. I can do all this myself. I don't need this. I don't need that. And
yeah, my boat runs itself, all its magic contraptions.
She actually strips and says, "Maybe I can offer you something else," and like offers herself sexually to him, and he just kind of stares, and I'm like, I mean, if he does this, he is immediately the most unlikable prick ever because he's just doing it for sex, and even though he doesn't,
he considers it for just long enough, doesn't he?
And then he just kind of like, and this is the thing. Later on in the movie, you're supposed to see this as a likable trait because when she asks, "Oh, when I offered myself to you earlier, why didn't you take me?" He says, "Oh, because you didn't really want it, not really." And I'm like, okay, but he still kind of like sort of like just looks down at her and like dismisses her and like,
yeah,
it's kind of it's an awkward and awful scene, right?
It is,
and not for the right reasons. Like, I feel like they're supposed to be setting up this, though, he's maybe kind of noble, he won't do this, but it never feels like that in the scene. It honestly feels like, maybe, nah, I don't need sex.
Oh no, you're right. He kind of considers it for too long, doesn't he? Whereas like he's weighing it up, going maybe, and then he's like, nah, not worth it.
Nah, he considers it too long, and then we get like half an hour of them bickering on the boat, repeatedly. Like she like breaks his harpoon gun at one point, and then he's mad at the kid for drawing.
Oh, don't touch my stuff.
Yeah, he's mad at the kid for drawing on the boat with the crayons. Like it's just bickering. It's bickering for a while. Then they meet the trader, and the trader wants to have sex with a woman, and again we talked about that scene. He almost goes through with it and doesn't, and then kills him, and then it goes on for a bit, and then it's after the whole underwater thing where he shows the city that out of almost nowhere there's like romance that kind of blossoms.
Yeah, I guess that the city was really romantic.
Yeah. It's for all of a sudden like she's into him.
Yeah.
Now it does come after they have to hide from the bad guys, and they do so big underwater, so he can breathe under there. So he's like passing breath back to her, and it's all, all romantic because he's on the whole thing, and it's just kind of whatever. Now the one thing we've not talked about yet, though, because obviously this is the point in the movie where the bad guys start to sort of catch up to them, and they actually grab them and think they've killed them, and set fire to his boat, ruin his boat, and do everything else. Which, by the way, they actually somehow get ahead of them. I suppose you could argue that because they've got the plane, they can get ahead of them. But it seems like there's more of them than there would fit in the plane, but whatever. They're on this little...
Stop questioning things.
They're on this little platform, and they've got like people they've killed, and they've strung them up like puppets to lure them into a trap. They're like wave. They've got like strings, and they're making the dead bodies wave at them, which is how they re-enter. But the one thing we've not mentioned though is Dennis Hopper, because he's the villain in this.
Yes, he is.
And he is chewing the scenery like he has been starved for a decade.
Yeah. He was like, you know what? I don't give a shit about this movie. I'm gonna go all out.
Oh, he's getting his paycheck. He's just having fun with it. And that's kind of entertaining to watch in places.
It is at first for a while, and then it kind of gets old.
Those there's some nice little moments earlier on when they're first escaping the town, the barter town, and Costner like harpoons the big gun that's shooting at things and makes it turn, and he makes it turn all the way so it hits Hopper's ship, and Hopper and his men, and there's like a little funny moment before Hopper has to jump off. He has like a little one-liner. He's like, oh crap, or something like that, and then they all jump off, and that's how he loses his eye. And then for the rest of the movie he's got this like really crap fake looking eye.
I was so glad they put an eye patch on later on.
But I mean, the scene where he first gets it and he's like saying how awful it looks, there's some entertainment.
No, there is. I mean, there's points, but I think it's just... I think it's a symptom of the movie being too long, where by the end, I'm like, yeah, even you're not entertaining anymore.
Yeah, because it's not until towards the end where we find out they've got this big tank, because they've actually kidnapped the girl, they're dreaming of dry land, they want to get to dry land, and Costner, for whatever reason, now decides he likes the girl and wants to save her, so we get this heroic mission to like get onto the big tanker, the big boat, and save the girl. And it's like, okay. And I mean, again, there's some nice ideas visually that because obviously they don't want to run the boat with the machines, with engines, they actually have like, they've cut out big holes in the side so they can oar it. They've got this big ship.
Yeah.
And there's like, hundreds of men with oars making it move. It's a nice idea, well enough. And then we just get a big action scene with him, like, swashbuckling his way around and harpooning things, and basically, and obviously at this point the guy from the town who was kind of Helen's friend, who's got a hot air balloon, a makeshift hot air balloon, has been helping them out, and he comes and saves them at the end, and gets them off, and there's some running for the rope and running from explosions and all sorts. Dennis Hopper's death is quite glorious. Him and two other guys on jet skis actually are all like driving into like Costner, but Costner just gets out in time. Or actually, they're driving towards the girl, and Costner bungees off the hot air balloon and grabs the girl. Which, by the way, it's lucky that rope was the exact correct length, because he stops exactly just where she is.
Convenient, isn't it? Yeah.
And then they fly off, and then they eventually find some dry land, and they're like shocked to find horses, and they're like starting to. But of course, Kevin Costner, he's a man of the ocean, so he has to leave. He's like, "Oh, you enjoy your dry land. I'm going out there to be with my water."
Yeah. See you, bitches.
That's the movie.
Okay, we keep mentioning it to Mad Max. Mad Max 2. Am I right in recalling the helicopter device? Is that a thing in that movie? Am I mixing it up with something else? The guy who kind of flies a bit, the weird guy.
I think so. I think that's Mad Max 2. It's been a while since I've watched it. But...
Yeah. I'm just very much like the hot air balloon guy. Kind of just comes in and saves things.
Yeah, it reminds you of Mad Max just in the premise, but also just the idea they've got this oil tanker. Because in Mad Max 2, the Road Warrior, that's very much the premise. They've got this big tanker, this truck that they're worshipping because it has oil. And of course, they all like to use the oil for their vehicles, because Mad Max is again one of these weird worlds where they're all in cars and stuff when they really shouldn't be using it up.
Well, see, this is the thing. Mad Max works more because everyone's insane. Everyone's weird.
Oh, sure, yeah. And at the very least, they treat it like a religion, where they treat it as the most important thing ever. It's not like they're using that oil to run generators so they can watch a movie.
Yeah, exactly. Cars are their thing. That's it.
Yeah. I don't know. Of course, he's drinking his own piss as well. That's some.
No, that's it. When this movie starts with him pissing, and I'm like, okay, I know what I'm in for here. This is what I'm getting for. I'm watching a man piss.
I mean, sure, he hydrates it and stuff and makes sure it's all.
Yeah, this is the thing. That looked like the piss of a very dehydrated man already. I don't think there's much water that he can get out of that to drink. Do you know what would be better doing? Finding out a way to boil, filter out the salt from all the water around him.
That would be an idea. That would be an idea.
Filtration system for piss. Get a filtration system for seawater. I'm just saying.
Oh dear. Oh God. What else do you want to talk about?
Any other movie?
I mean,
no, I don't know. I really did not enjoy this at all. This was such a slog to sit through.
It was a slog to get through. I mean, I don't hate it. Like, I don't despise it, but it is too long. It is derivative. Like, characters are not likable. That was my biggest thing, actually. It was just how unlikable the character was.
I feel like, I can forgive all the other stuff if the characters that I'm following are at least fun to spend time. But I'm not even enjoying spending time around with them because I'm like, I don't like you. Why am I watching you doing something?
And he's so unlikable that later on, when he's supposed to have turned into a hero and he's saving the girl, I just don't buy it. I'm just kind of like rolling my eyes at it and saying, yeah, sure,
it's because there's no gradual build to it. It's just, okay, no, he's a hero now.
I feel like when they thought of this movie and they had the idea, they had the concept, and it was a good concept. They said, we're going to do this Waterworld.
It's a good concept, yeah.
But then they didn't get people to actually write a script who knew how to write a script. They just kind of did the obvious things without thinking about them, and it's left us with this kind of... And that wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing. Like, you could give me some fun schlocky thing that's really goofy bad, but fun. This is not really that. This is more... I mean,
you said, the action there's a lot of action at the start, a lot of action at the end.
Yeah.
And that's true. If there'd been more of that in the middle as well, this would be a lot easier to get through.
Yeah. I think you do cut some time out of it, because it's like 2 hours, 15 minutes, and I feel like at least cut 15 minutes. Get it down to 2 hours.
This shouldn't even be 2 hours.
Frankly. At the very least, cut it down that far. Like, I kept expecting them to, like, encounter a different town in the middle or something like that, or encounter something...
They're kind of just on their boat for a very, very, very long time.
Yeah. Like we say, they encounter the barter guy who wants to have sex with Helen, but that's about it. Like, that's...
A couple of run-ins with smokers where they just run away.
Yeah, there's a couple of those, which, again, feels very much like a video game where you just have, like, the random encounters and you just run away.
It does.
There's a... relatively impressive scene where he, like, I say not impressive for us, but impressive for the characters, where he, like, kills a big fish. He jumps in the water.
Yeah.
And they all eat some food.
It's fine. Fish is cool.
It did make me want some fish, I'm not gonna lie. Seeing the fish be grilled, I was like, I could go for some fish.
I had some fish after this.
Does make me wonder how the Aquaman movie's going to go.
Can't be worse than this. Oh no, wait, no. Forget I said that.
Yeah, don't say that. It can be.
It can. It definitely.
It could be Batman v Superman underwater, and that is worse than this.
Yeah, it is. That's worse than shitty Mad Max on water.
Oh man, yeah. I don't have a whole lot more to say. I feel like obviously. Like, you could argue that there's a message here. Global warming, like, you could argue that's kind of there.
I mean, I guess it is in the premise, but it's not really, is it? They don't go, oh, hey, we should have done something.
Yeah, cherish what you have. Yeah, the characters never really know why it is the way it is. Like, they never understand that. Like, it was.
It's global warming in the sense of, we know that, oh, the polar ice caps melted. So let's not do that, so it gets like this.
And to be fair, it never actually says why they melted. Like, I think in present day now, we just assume it's because, global warming.
I think it was safe to assume that in the 90s as well, to be honest.
Oh, sure, probably. But I don't feel like when they wrote it, that's why they said that, though. Like, I feel like that's just the premise. Like, no, the ice cap's melted. Doesn't matter why.
No, that's fair. And like I say, like, the characters don't even know the ice caps were a thing, let alone the ice caps melted caused this.
Yeah.
So it's not really a message.
Yeah, there's no exploration event like that, and I feel like, again, there's more you could do with the idea. There's more the idea of land being the myth. Like, I feel like there's more to do with that, and the idea of, like, well, what could we do on land? We could plant things, we could grow things, we could, like all these different things.
I think honestly, if I'd want this to have better boats, because I think better boats would really make this more, because they're mostly just kind of rafts, like rafts with sails.
What sort of boats do you think it should have? Because I feel like if you go too far, then you're like, okay, how do they operate in these boats?
Yeah, I don't know, but it's a tough question. But I don't know. I feel like the design of the boats is really bland. I feel like I want something exciting.
I mean, unless you're not going to treat it like a post-apocalyptic thing, you're going to treat it like, no, this is in the future, and it's all water, but we're still like an advanced civilization that has all these things. Like, we can go to the bottom of the ocean and mine stuff. We can do all this. There's cities of, like, floating cities and whatnot. You could do that, I suppose. But then again, you're not really Mad Max anymore. You're Blade Runner on water.
Yeah, but you can still search for dry land, so that stuff still works.
I can still search for dry land. You could treat it like the oppressive city, and, like, life is shit on land. Like, the people who control it are all these rich assholes, and yeah. So you search for a better place.
I feel like, though, even just a regular sailboat now, like, it's got even one that doesn't need powering is just more interesting to look at than these rafts. I feel like they just could have done something a bit more interesting.
Aye, but it's supposed to be like Fallout, post-apocalyptic style.
I know, but I just feel like it's a really it's just a few planks strapped together, and I feel like it's just too boring. I get that, yeah, it's Fallout style, it's post-apocalyptic, but I still want interesting designs.
Okay. I just want better characters. I mean,
that is the main problem. Yeah, I think ultimately, if you had the two characters that you're with were likable and had some chemistry.
Chemistry would be a good thing. Yes.
This would at least be, reasonably enjoyable. It would still fail in most of the other areas, but I could have some fun.
I also think Kevin Costner's kind of miscast. Like, just as an action hero, he doesn't really work, I don't think.
No, it doesn't.
So that's the thing. I mean, I'm kind of glad I've watched it, just so, like, okay, I've seen Waterworld now. I've ticked it off the bucket list. It's fine.
Yeah.
So I'm happy in that sense, but, like, I
never watch it again.
Oh no, it's never happening again. I've stayed far away.
I resent our patrons for making us watch this. I resent you for putting this as an option that they could vote for. See,
knowing that it's upset you makes it all worth it. Makes
I
it
bet it does
all
for
worth
you. I
it.
bet it does for you as well, because you're that much of a prick.
What other joke options can I put in the future votes that might upset you?
Oh, I'm going to think of a joke option one day, and you're going to have to put it in.
Hell, Kerr doesn't like Tarantino. I could put on a Tarantino movie that could win, and I could enjoy it, and he would hate it, and that would be delightful.
That is true. I would probably hate it.
Both volumes of Kill Bill back to
Oh,
back.
no. I'm drawing the line at that. They are individual films. You're not making me do that.
Oh, they are not. They split
I'm not
for
sitting
time.
through 4 hours of that shite.
How dare you? Kill Bill's a fantastic film.
Look, I'm not making you sit through Lord of the Rings Extended. You're not making me sit through Kill Bill. That's the deal we have here. It's the unspoken arrangement that I've just spoken.
No, but you've not seen Kill Bill, so it's not a fair
Have you
comparison.
seen Extended Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, it's the only ones I've seen.
Okay. But I don't want to see Kill Bill, so tough shit. I'm taking a stand. I'm not watching two movies worth.
But it's good. It's fantastic. I'll make you a guarantee it's better than Waterworld. You'll enjoy it more than Waterworld. I'll promise you that.
Do you know what? That's probably true. I'm not disputing that. But Waterworld, as overlong as it is still like half the length of those two movies.
Any final thoughts on Waterworld? Do you want to score it? Do we do that? Do we score it out of 10?
Oh, we do score it, don't we? Give it a solid 3. Maybe even a 3.5 if I'm being very generous with the music.
I don't know. I think I'll go slightly higher. Give it a 4.
Yeah, very, very, very slightly.
Well, because it's not as bad as, like, again, it's all about comparative sort of reasons. Like, if I look at, like, movies that I've given a 1, a 2, and a 3, I'm like, no, it's not that bad. Like it's kind of your typical soulless, big budget, like, tentpole movie that is just kind of void of any talent or, like, you know, good story, good characters, anything like that. It's completely. This is the equivalent of like a Michael Bay Transformers movie now kind of thing, more or less.
I think I'd prefer to watch those. I think I'd get more out of those.
But the point I'm making is that, like, they're kind of filling that void where they're not the worst things ever made. There's a technical proficiency, I should say. Proficiency. There's a technical proficiency, but obviously it's quite bad. But there are some nice ideas. I don't hate some of the stunts are okay. Like, I like that there's some practical stunt work going on. A few of those are kind of fun. So I I'll give it that. I like some of the ideas. I'll tell you what I like. I like the little gag at the start with the Universal logo, where it zooms in and the water like takes over all the land. I like that.
No, that's nice.
That was a nice little touch. That was a nice little thing.
I'm always a fan of logo gimmicks. I'm sure we've mentioned that.
I think I liked it especially in this one because I don't feel like I've ever seen it with that mid-90s Universal logo. I feel like I've seen it quite a few times where movies will do something to the new one.
Yeah.
Although I was pissed though because I really liked the music that went along with that logo, and I was pissed that this one didn't have the music because now sometimes they'll just have their own music playing.
Yeah, they'll just start the movie over it essentially.
I really missed that mid-90s Universal logo music. I really like that one. Just on YouTube, look up I think it's the 75th anniversary Universal logo, and you can hear the music I'm talking about.
No, it's nice.
Just to make me feel old, because they recently had the 100th revamp of it, which is when they jazzed it all up the last couple of years.
I don't think I even noticed.
You should have at least noticed the music change.
I probably have, but I'll be honest, a lot of the time I kind of just zone out in these, because I feel like these logos often go on far too long now, where there'll be like 6 of them in a row. So I don't even pay attention. I kind of just zone out. I was like, oh, movie started.
Get me in the mood for the movie. This is blasphemy.
Oh, no. They do when there's 2 or 3 of them, but now there's just too many. On like so many movies where especially like the blockbusters, I'll go and I'll see like 6 logos and be like, okay.
I disagree with that. Blockbusters are the ones that are less likely to have more than 2 or 3.
I don't know, I feel like I see them a lot on blockbusters,
Oh,
but
no,
maybe this is just my perception being weird.
No, it tends to be the low budget stuff because the low budget stuff tends to have like 7, 8
Yeah, no,
financiers, so they'll have like 8 logos at the start. What was it I saw recently? There was something that had like 9 logos at the start of it. And I was like, oh, come on, right, okay, you're taking the piss now. Let's get to the movie. But no, typically I expect from the big studios, I expect theirs, Universal, Fox, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I'll expect the more specific one. If it's like Scott Free, or if it's like a Nolan movie, it'll be Syncopy. If it's a J.J. Abrams movie, it'll be Bad Robot. I love the Bad Robot one actually.
I know you do. You've said before.
Well, because I always saw it at the end of Lost, so it was actually a really big deal when I saw it. I think with Cloverfield, I remember like seeing it because it's silent in the start of the movie, but in my head when it got to the end of it, I just went Bad Robot because that's what it does at the end.
I think that's why I like the TV show ones because there's only one usually. They're always at the end of the credits, so I just get one. That's it. I'm done.
They're too short at the end of TV shows. Like a quick 2-second thing. Now don't get a chance to bask in the prestige.
No, they're the perfect length.
No, they're not. No, you're not. I don't want a shorter Universal logo. I want the build up and the drums and the brass.
Really?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's fine, but I don't need it all the time. Every so often.
Give me a solid 20 to 30 second logo at the start of a movie with a good bit of music.
I think I prefer when they start their own music for the movie. Generally speaking, I think I prefer when it gets me into the mood of the movie a bit quicker. Whereas when it's the stock ones, I'm like, yeah, okay, this is a nice piece of music, but it's just this could be any movie still because they all put out so many different types of movie. Whereas if I start getting the music of the movie, I start getting into that or a little bit quicker.
I don't know what I prefer actually because I like the I mean not all of them, but I like most of the big studios music at the start. So, and if you didn't have it there, then I wouldn't have this like correlation with it where the music gets me in the mood for the movie. Like I only have that because they use it for a lot of movies.
Oh no, that's true.
So, but that said, sometimes it can be effective when you start with the actual score or whatever.
Yeah.
The start
Sometimes
with.
it's even just sound effects.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah. Well, there you go. You get a discussion about movie logo intros at the end of that.
We had even bonus content because we really didn't like this movie.
Well, that is Waterworld. So let us know what you think of the classic in the comments below. Like and subscribe, all that stuff. For patrons, of course, the vote for the next batch of movies is up for next month. So you can go do that. The theme, of course, is unconventional romance movies. So I think the options, if I remember them off the top of my head, Lars and the Real Girl, Her, Lady Hawk, and Punch Drunk Love. There you go.
Oh, he's nailed it.
That's the 4. So that's the options for the $5 patrons and up. So you can go check out that and make your pick for next month. And
I'm glad Peter didn't put anything as awful as Waterworld in there.
Oh, I did not. No.
Give us a break next month.
No, there was temptation, but no. Also, remember the vault, which is also something for our patrons. Everyone can see the vault, of course. There'll be a link in the description to the vault, which is basically a list of patron-submitted movies that we'll consider for future episodes. So patrons get to submit them, but everyone can see it, so you can see the link in the description. And of course, the link to Patreon itself, which is patreon.com/MailFuzzTV, is down there if you want to support the show and the channel and everything we do here. But otherwise, that is us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching movies, guys, and we'll see you next time.